Harrison Ford will be returning as Indiana Jones in Indiana Jones 5, is it? Yeah, it's 5. It's been a while since the last one, so it's hard to keep track. And we're going to be talking all about that on Celebrity Josh for Thursday, February 6th, 2010. So, before we get into that, I just want to introduce myself because this is my very first podcast. If it sounds a bit echoey, it's because I'm in a hotel room. I live in hotels now. That's a story for another day. As what's that character in the new Star Wars? When they ask her a question in The Force Awakens, and they're like, "Well, how did you get Luke Skywalker's saber?" She's like, "That is a good question for another day," which means J.J. Abrams didn't know. But I do know why I'm living in hotels. It's just a story for another day. Anyways, I have been wanting to do a podcast for years. Years I've been researching this, meeting with people, asking them, like, how do you get something onto iTunes, which is now Apple Podcasts, I believe. I took a podcast course for a full day. I've gone to a podcast conference for a few days, and I just haven't done it yet, and I'm doing it now. Why? Well, let me tell you. I sometimes go on to red carpets and interview celebrities and draw cartoons of them, and I think it was 3 years ago, I was at the premiere of Anne, which it's called Anne in Canada and Anne with an E in the US, or vice versa. And I think in the States it's Anne with an E, yeah. Anyways, so I was at the premiere in Canada, and after the show, I went up to Amy Beth McNulty, who plays Anne, and I drew her a picture just before I went up to her. I drew it like with scenes from the show so she could see that, oh, you just drew it right now. And I gave it to her, and my friend filmed it. And then 3 years later, I was at the ACTRA Awards, which is the Actors Union in Canada, because I'm an ACTRA member myself. I'm an actor, and I saw Amy. Well, I saw her on stage first because she won Best Actress, and I shared a little clip of it on my Instagram story, and then she shared that to her story. And then I saw her sitting alone at a table in the dance party area, and I went up to her, and she's like, "Oh my God." And I didn't know if she'd recognize me because I changed my Instagram name from, what was it? I think it was @JoshRackless, but then I became Celebrity Josh. I'm back to @JoshRackless now. Anyways, she recognized me, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what's it been? It's been 3 years?" I'm like, "Yes," she remembered exactly. And she's like, "I still have the drawing." And I'm like, "Oh, you know what?" And I got a little clip of her in my story. I said, "Hey, if I do a podcast, you going to come on my podcast?" She's like, "Yep." And so what I just realized, because I was just checking my emails, and the ACTRA Awards, sorry, you can hear the plumbing in the, like if somebody's running water in the hotel room, you can hear it. That's very professional for a podcast. Anyways, oh, and there's also beeping from an elevator outside the room, if you can hear that. What was I talking about? Oh, right. So I checked my emails, and the ACTRA Awards is coming up on February 20th. When is that? 14 days, exactly 2 weeks, which means it's been a year since I last saw Amy Beth, and she said she would be on my podcast, and I haven't started a podcast yet. So I figure I've got to get this started so that if I run into her at the ACTRA Awards again, I can say, "Oh, I actually have a podcast now." Can you imagine, like, seeing her again and going, "Yeah, I haven't started it yet." Oh my gosh. Time flies. Because the other reason I wanted to start a podcast, well, I mean, one of many reasons, is that I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, I was flying to Israel, and I was flying first class because I was afraid of not being able to sleep. And I'm like, "Oh, I got to sleep. I got to get there well rested." And the woman behind me looked familiar. So I Googled quickly, like, Leonardo DiCaprio's ex-girlfriend. And it was Bar Raffaelli, supermodel, Leonardo DiCaprio's ex-girlfriend. And I posted a selfie of it on Instagram, and my friend Tony messaged me. He's like, "Oh, she was just on the Howard Stern show." And I thought, you know what? When I get back to Toronto, I've got to have my own show so that I can hand a supermodel a card and say, "Hey, I've got a show. Do you want to come on my show?" And what's it been, like 5 years, and I still haven't got my show? So no more of this, because I'm probably not going to run into Bar Raffaelli in the next couple of weeks, but I might definitely run into Amy Beth McNulty. And I could keep delaying doing this podcast because, the sound's not perfect. And I'm ordering a voice box. It's like a vocal booth to go that you can go inside of it on your desk, and then it kills echoes. I need it for my voice acting. And it's not getting here till tomorrow. So maybe I should wait to do that. But no, because there's always a reason to delay, and you just have to carpe diem, as they say. Or I think Shakespeare said that. It means seize the day. Or is that from Good Will Hunting? Well, I mean, it was probably Shakespeare originally. Maybe they used it in Good Will Hunting. Who knows? I should know. I'm an entertainment podcaster, right? Oh, and the other reason I could delay this is that I'm tired today. Because last night, there's the plumbing. I made a YouTube video around 8 o'clock, and then I was like all excited. And then at 9 o'clock, I did a 2.5 hour video call with my accountant to work on my taxes, not from this year, but from the previous year. And I felt so, so it was 11:30 p.m. and I'm like, oh, I should go to bed, but I'm all pumped because I made a video, and then I talked to my accountant. I'm being so productive. I didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. And then I had to get up just before 9:30 because that's when the stock market's open, and I got to watch my stocks. And I needed to get the breakfast in the hotel while it was still being served. So I could say, you know what, I'm not going to do my podcast today. I'm tired. But here's what I've thought of recently. It's like, you always might be tired, and you go, oh, tomorrow I won't be as tired. But tomorrow you'll be older. So anytime you wait, you're sort of losing in terms of age. Like maybe I'll get a bit more sleep tonight, which is unlikely. I always stay up too late on my phone. But even if I did get more sleep, well, I'll be older. So I'll sound older. I'll look older if it's a video. And of course, every day that you don't post something, you're missing a chance to get new fans. And maybe even people pass away and they miss the chance to hear your podcast. And that's going to be a theme today as well, because Kirk Douglas passed away yesterday. And it's been on my mind, people passing, I guess fathers, because Michael Douglas passed, well, he didn't pass away. He was talking about how his father, Kirk Douglas, passed away. And then The Rock, his father passed away recently. And then I met with this model who also runs a modeling agency this week. And she posted on Instagram yesterday that her father just passed away, and he was only 54. So you never know. Anything can happen any day. And of course, was it just last week that Kobe Bryant died in the helicopter crash, which is terrible. So we just got to carpe diem and just do this. And here's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be playing the audio from the video I recorded last night. Because I haven't been doing YouTube videos either, really. I've only recently started last month. I did 2 trailer reaction videos, and then I wanted to start doing videos where I read an article about entertainment news, because I watch a lot of those videos. I'm like, I should be doing that. So yesterday there was an article, there was a video I watched on Geeks and Gamers where Jeremy was ranting about the news that Harrison Ford is going to be returning for Indiana Jones. And so I thought it would be like, his video was like 6 minutes, and I thought, okay, mine will be like a couple of minutes. I'll just comment on his video or something. But I wound up talking for 17 minutes. And then afterwards, I posted it, and I thought, you know what? I could take the audio from that. That could be my podcast, because that's actually a good podcast length, right? And it might be the ideal length. I was reading that the average commute is like 26 minutes, and so that would be a good length for a podcast, because people could listen to it on their commute. Oh, and the other reason I just need to start doing a podcast is that I need to figure out technically what's involved. Like once I have this audio, I can export it, and then I got to figure out, okay, where do I put it? How do I write, I think they're called ID3 tags or something that describe what the file is in case people download it, as opposed to listening on an app. So this will be the experiment. And then one day when this podcast is the biggest podcast in the world, which is inevitable, and I think it'll happen very soon, you can say, oh man, I listened to the first one. And here's the other thing. I see all these inspirational messages on Instagram or on Facebook groups or whatever, and they always say like, oh, your first podcast is going to be awful. Your first novel is going to be awful or whatever. So just do it. And I don't know if that's very, inspirational. Like, why should my first podcast be awful? And why would people listen to another one if the first one was awful? But I get your point. You'll keep improving. You'll keep learning. So let's just get this out. And it's funny. I just checked my phone because I put on Do Not Disturb so that it wouldn't beep. Because it's this old phone. I'm still using an iPhone 6S, and there's something wrong with it now that I can't. It seems to think it's always in vibrate mode, so it's always like meh, meh, like I can't turn it mute. So I just put it on Do Not Disturb, and I just looked at it because I was taking a slight bathroom break That's the nice thing about podcasting, because you can actually just stop recording and then come back to it, and then nobody knows. It's not like editing like a video where it's like, oh, clearly this jump cut they had to. Whatever. So I came back, I looked at my phone, and on my screen there's a message from a guy. It says he's replying to my story, and he says, you have literally been saying you are going to start your podcast for over a year. What is stopping you besides your own sad brain? So there's no punctuation in there. That's why I read it like that. But, well, okay, good point, Julian. There's nothing stopping me besides my own sad brain. And now I am preventing my sad brain from stopping me. So let's get right into the audio from the video. And because it was a video, I was recording it in Zoom, which is like this meeting software. Like last month, I was Googling, how do you make a reaction video? How do you show what's on the screen while you're on the webcam and everything? So I figured it out for an article. That's what I'm using. Like it's a video. I actually download the video and put it in iMovie later. If you guys want tutorials on how to do this stuff, let me know. But anyway, so I was using Zoom, and so the articles are on screen. So that's what you're not seeing. So it might not make complete sense. But at the beginning, there's just an image of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones on the bridge in the second Indiana Jones. And then at some point, I probably show the thumbnail from Jeremy's video from his Geeks and Gamers page. And he's got a picture of like a woman wearing an Indiana Jones hat. And I think that's about all you're missing. So without further ado, is it adieu? Adieu would mean goodbye. Adieu, adieu, adieu. What is that from? Like Sound of Music? Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the audio with the hot news from last night. Oh, wait, I just realized I forgot to actually introduce myself. Like I said, the podcast is Celebrity Josh, and that's the name I'm going by. My actual name is Josh Rackless, and I might come up with another stage name. I've been working on lots of different stage names, and I was thinking, well, but, I want to be a comedian, so what name? Like, if you want to be a rapper, you can have like a cool, short rap name, but then you might seem ridiculous if you're a comedian. You go on stage with that name. But then somebody was saying, well, like Donald Glover, like he has a different rap name and he uses a different name for acting. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I could have a rap name and I could have a comedian name. And then I've been watching, I didn't know Aquafina had a viral video 7 years ago called, well, I won't even say the topic because I don't want to get like all 18 plus censored on Instagram. Or what am I on? A podcast. But I like her name too. So, and it actually works for her because like she's a rapper, but also comedian, also an actress. So maybe I can come up with like a single name that works for all things like that. She's my inspiration. And I actually have a video of me giving her a cartoon I drew of her at the premiere of Crazy Rich Asians. So like if you scroll way down on my Instagram, you can probably find that. Anyways, let's get into the Indiana Jones news. And I mean, you'll be listening to me every day. We can talk lots more about my life and my stage names and all this kind of stuff. And hopefully I will have guests on my show. I've actually interviewed a few actors recently, and I'm like, that one was too long, and I don't know if I should use it for a podcast. So I'm just doing my single rant today, but maybe I'll post some older interviews later, and I can do new interviews. There's going to be lots of stuff. So yeah, lots to look forward to. And here we go. I guess we can't really say here we go now. It's already been 12 minutes of me rambling, but here we continue to go. Here's the audio from last night's video. Oh, and I just realized I should probably do a little music as a transition so you'll know now we're entering like last night's video audio. And I don't have my guitar because I live in hotels and it's in storage. Whole other story for another day. So I'll just sing something like, okay, here's the music interlude thing. No, wait, it should be like a cool rock and roll sting thing, like. Oh, and what you're not seeing at the beginning is that at the beginning of the video, well, because I can't tell when Zoom starts recording, it seems there's a bit of a lag. So I try to sort of just sit there for a minute so I'm not cutting myself off when it starts recording. And also I wanted to have like a good thumbnail, like some image that I knew I could use, like select as one of the three options when YouTube makes thumbnails. And the first image in the video is always one of the options. So I had an image of Harrison Ford on the bridge, and then in my little webcam square where I was on camera, I just sort of looked handsomely into the camera, like mimicking his look. And so that's what you're missing at the beginning here. Okay, and now here we go after the musical interlude. Celebrity Josh. All right. Hopefully that little glare I gave, trying to look like Harrison Ford there, works as a good thumbnail for the video. Also, I need to leave a bit of pause because I'm not sure exactly when this starts recording. I'm using Zoom to record my screen. This is an experiment. I haven't used Zoom before to record my screen. A few months ago, I recorded a couple of videos showing CNN articles and reading CNN, but this will be my first entertainment news reaction video on a specific article, and it's part of my new thing. I've done a couple of trailer reaction videos. I hope you liked them. Morbius, and then the one before that was A Quiet Place 2. And what I'm trying to do is be kind of like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. You can check him out on YouTube. Actually, here, I'll show you. How do I make my screen appear? There he is. See, so he sits in the bottom of the screen and comments on things. And that's what I'm going to do too. Because I love his life. I love how you can see my mouse? You can see that he's got this room full of all his toys and games, and it looks so cozy. But he also does videos from the road. Like sometimes he's in his car driving to like Star Wars Celebration or Florida for some reason. I guess maybe those are both the same thing. Do they move Star Wars Celebration around? I don't know. Or sometimes he's in a hotel room, and I'm in a hotel room right now, so I'm kind of like him. And you're like, oh, where are you, Josh? Oh, by the way, I'm Celebrity Josh. That's the name I'm going by until I come up with something better. Are you on a vacation? Are you on a trip? I'm like, no, I actually, I sold my condo in the summer and I live in hotels now. So it's not that exciting, but maybe it could be exciting. It's all about what your attitude is, right? This is exciting. There's actually, I've got a jacuzzi. Should I show you? Doesn't matter. I'm not going to move the webcam, but there's a jacuzzi tub in the middle of the room. So I should be doing my show from that, but nobody wants to see that. Okay. So, my friend said with my trailer reaction videos, I should try to keep it tight and get right to the thing, but I'm not actually doing a trailer here, but I am talking about specific news. So my new experiment is I want to just do a hot take on things, which means just, you saw it and then here's your initial thoughts rather than overthinking it or having to write things, because then it'll take less time. I can just bang it out. And usually I find that my initial thoughts on things, when you just speak off the cuff, it might be almost as good as writing it. So, I just saw this news and this kind of I like Indiana Jones. I've always liked Indiana Jones. So what I did actually, okay, here's the first thing. I saw that Jeremy did a video and I watched the video about it. And so I'll talk about his take on it and I'll talk about why maybe I can't give the same take on it. And then I'll talk about the actual news. Maybe I'll talk about the actual news first. You can see, and by the way, I'm a bit distracted because I went to Twitter because I saw his video and then I didn't realize that I thought it was a tweet from actually Kathleen Kennedy herself that he was reacting to. So I went to look up the tweet and then I saw trending that Kirk Douglas has just passed away at age 103. And that's kind of upset me. So I went through all those tweets and I'm like, can I even still do my Indiana Jones video? I forgot to time this. I was going to time it to see how long I've been going. I was going to say, should I even do this video? It's too depressing, but I'm like, no, I got to soldier on. But we can talk about Kirk Douglas a bit too. And I know it's like, oh, he's 103, who cares? But it's sad when anybody passes. And also the fact that he was still with us, kind of gave me hope. I was like, wow, okay. Because I remember Catherine Zeta-Jones just, was posting on Instagram like, happy birthday, Papi, and stuff. And I'm like, that's so great. Kirk Douglas married a younger woman, and now she gets to, have like a father-in-law, and it just gave me hope for my own family. And then when somebody passes, I'm like, oh, that's sad. Like now, I don't like it. And The Rock's dad just passed away, but also this model that I met this week and I was going to collaborate with, she just passed, or her father, she just posted on Instagram that her father passed away. And I was like, looked up and he's like only 54. And I'm like, oh, cause she posted how old he was. And I'm like, this is very, anyways, let's try to celebrate the good things. I guess once we pass, then we're not aware of anything anyways, so it doesn't really matter. So to that person anyways. Okay, so the news about Indiana Jones here. I'll talk about, here's the thing, because Jeremy's take on it is that, oh gosh, here we go, because Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilm, which yeah, that's right. So Disney owns Lucasfilm now, and so she's in charge of all the Lucasfilm properties, which were Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and I don't know what else. And he's afraid that they're going to turn this into. And see, I don't want to say anything critical about Star Wars or about woke culture, about political correctness, because then that might hurt my own career. So I'm trying to present this as their opinion, and I'm trying to, I'm open-minded. I can see both sides of things. I just don't like it when either side labels the other side, completely evil and impugns, like assumes malintent from that side. I try to see both sides, and I assume that most people have good intent. So hopefully I don't get canceled as they do to people on the internet when they, say, oh, he said something that we don't like, and now this person has to disappear from the world. So, all right, well, I'll read the news first, and then I'll talk about what Jeremy's take was. So this was the news I found. If you Google Harrison Ford, this shows up. Harrison Ford can't wait to return for Indiana Jones 5. It's not a reboot, says Kathleen Kennedy. So a lot of people don't like Kathleen Kennedy because they feel that with the new Star Wars trilogy, there wasn't any respect paid to the legacy characters like the original Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford, or Han Solo, Princess Leia. And it seemed like the only goal for this, as it is seems to be with a lot of movies these days, is just to be politically correct or woke and say, look, we've replaced the white male characters with a woman or a black character or an Asian character, and people's concern. And okay, so the woke side tends to argue that, oh, anybody who doesn't like this is just racist, but the other side is saying, no, we don't care about race or whatever. We want the movie to be good. And so the concern is that when you just want to replace characters to say, look, it's diverse now, but there's no care paid towards the script or the character or writing a good film, that's the concern. So that is the concern here, as you'll hear when I talk about Jeremy's take. So Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy confirmed Harrison Ford is reprising his role as Indiana Jones in the fifth installment of the franchise. Now, I just realized I don't think I've even seen the fourth one, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I've seen some of it. I feel like, I don't know where, like, why would I have only seen bits of it? Like, if it was online, I would have started from the beginning, but I know I haven't seen the beginning where he hides in a fridge. It must have been on TV, on a plane. I don't know. I feel like I've seen little clips of it, and it wasn't good. Harrison Ford isn't hanging up his fedora anytime soon. The actor, 77, which tells me, okay, so then I'm doing the math. It's like, wow, okay, so, okay, basically when I was 17, he was my age that I am now or something. Anyways, I remember in high school that I thought he was so cool. I loved the fedora. My dad actually bought this fedora at that time too. So this would have been, early 90s. And I probably wore it, but it was too big for me and stuff. But I thought, oh my gosh, if I could wear a hat like that, that'd be so cool. I could protect myself from the sun. And I liked his muscle here. I'm like, oh, that's what I want to work out. So just have that. And just the chest hair, it was all, I'm sounding like I'm attracted to him, but I guess I am in a way. Really cool guy. Okay, so the actor 77 is returning to, and I also, see, okay, let me show you this. I have, I carry this around, my little man bag, and I always wanted a bag like Harrison Ford had. Is he wearing his little satchel here? Yeah, he is, see? That's what I think of myself as, too. I'm always like Indiana Jones, my little satchel. Okay, so the actor 77 is returning to his Indiana Jones character in an upcoming fifth installment of the film. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy confirmed to BBC News while on the BAFTA Awards red carpet on Sunday. Okay, so that's where this all came from. We're working away, getting the script where we want it to be, and then we'll be ready to go, Kennedy said. Asked if Ford might reprise his role, Kennedy said he would. Well, okay, see, this is where it gets confusing. What do you mean, asked if Ford might reprise his role? Well, what would an Indiana Jones movie be if he wasn't in it? Like, why would that even be a question? Now, I know Chris Pratt, they've been talking about maybe him replacing him. Oh, that would just be bad. I wish they could, have a new character come in and be part of that world. But I guess the thing with Indiana Jones is that it took place like in the 30s and 40s or whatever, where it's before the internet. It's sort of an old-fashioned thing. So you can't really just continue on from there. Like, it wouldn't really make sense because, you could just use Google to find the temple and stuff. Harrison Ford will be involved. Yeah, she said, it's not a reboot, it's a continuation. Be involved. And see, this is a concern that Jeremy had. It's like, what does be involved mean? Kennedy added, he can't wait. Well, maybe that's true. Although he's always said that he wanted to be out of Star Wars. He was kind of sick of Star Wars. And then he kept asking them to kill him. And they did. Spoiler for the new trilogy. Last year, Chris Pratt was rumored to be taking over the role of the famous explorer until Ford set the record straight. Nobody is going to be Indiana Jones, the actor said during an interview on the Today Show in May 2019. Don't you get? I'm Indiana Jones. When I'm gone, he's gone. It's easy. So, well, that's good. Because a lot of people feel like, it's an iconic character. It's not like James Bond where you can just replace him, or Doctor Who. Pratt's name has been connected with the role since 2015, shortly after Disney bought the movie rights for the film from Paramount back in 2013. So yeah, Disney likes Chris Pratt because he's in the plays Star-Lord in the Marvel films, and Disney bought Marvel as well. Ford has played the role in 4 movies. The upcoming 5th installment is set for release in 2021. Well, it's already 2020 with Steven Spielberg directing. That's pretty cool. How could it be? This can't be right. How could it be released next year if they haven't even? We're working on the script. I'm not buying that timeline, but sure, I guess you could crank it out, which it looks like they did with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, okay, and let me just show you. See, I found, what is this? Kathleen Kennedy. So I searched Kathleen Kennedy to find the thing, and I realized, she doesn't have Twitter. And then, oh, here's a joke. When you see the script for Kathleen Kennedy getting Colin Trevorrow's Rise of Skywalker script, and then she's ripping it up. So yeah, this is the sad thing. What is Kirk Douglas not even trending anymore? How can he not be trending anymore? It was like he just died like a few minutes ago. He was already trending. Where's the Kirk Douglas? How is this not? Come on, Kirk. Geez, 103 years and you're gone from Twitter in 2 seconds. Kirk Douglas. Because to me, look, he looks like the original Indiana Jones. He wasn't on Twitter. There's a guy named Kirk Douglas. That's not him. Yeah, it's like he's look at that, nice guy. And then you can see him, Spartacus. Like, tell me that's not Indiana Jones right there. Very cool. Okay, but this isn't about Kirk. This is about. Okay, so there's Jeremy. So his concern is that they're gonna. Jeremy was going on about how they're gonna kill him. For sure, they're gonna kill him. And that he'd be forgiven for thinking that because they killed him off in Star Wars, although he wanted that. So I don't know if he wants to be killed off here. And then, okay, so you can see, I don't know what the exact concern is. He said they're going to kill him, and this was their YouTube thumbnail. It's a woman. Who is that? Is that looks like a computer-generated woman? There's Kathleen Kennedy, and that looks kind of like who's the guy? Ben Affleck, his wife. Anyway, so I mean, his concern is, what are they going to do to this? Are they going to turn this into a woman, like a woman character? I don't think. I mean, that would be ridiculous. I mean, there already is. I mean, what was that movie I saw recently? The Lara Croft movie. There was the reboot of that. So I mean, that's kind of like the female Indiana Jones. I don't know what they would do. I guess the concern there is just that, okay, are they just gonna not really care about the script at all, about any of this, and just do it to be woke? So it's like, look, now we've got he said they'll have a powerful woman, probably. What did he say? Cuck him, like some kind of he said, that's right, he said they're gonna disrespect, assassinate the character, and not literally kill him, although they will kill him, is what Jeremy's saying. But they're gonna ruin the character. They're gonna make him a beta male. No, the directors have to be a beta male. No, they're going to make him just somebody that doesn't have the respect that the character used to be, kind of like they did with Luke Skywalker. I think there's a character in the Star Wars books or something called Jake Skywalker. That's what they keep referring to Luke Skywalker as in the new movies, where he's not at all like he was originally, and he's just this sad, pathetic character. And that's what Jeremy's concern is going to happen to Indiana Jones. Although, I mean, I don't know if Harrison Ford would allow that to happen, although it kind of happened in Star Wars. But with Steven Spielberg directing, at least there's a hope that this could be good. I would think, even though he directed King of the Crystal Skull, so maybe so much for that hope. But Kathleen Kennedy tends to hire directors that will do whatever she says, and she fires the ones that have their own ideas. So hopefully Spielberg has enough clout to want to do this properly. And I think he was saying, when I read about this in the past, that he wouldn't do it unless there was a good, like, he wants to, did he say he wanted to make up for King of the Crystal Skull or something? I felt like there was some kind of feeling that, okay, they're going to do this properly. They've done the bad, crappy version, and let's do this right. I just wonder, though. I mean, I feel like, is it impossible to make like a really good movie these days? Like, I feel like these classics like Raiders of the Lost Ark, they were just so good. They were well written and they're exciting, and you could watch them again and again. And I feel like movies these days, they just crank them out. Like, Marvel movies are kind of disposable. What other movies? The new Star Wars is just, I would never watch them again. They're just not good. And then there's the two sides. Like, the woke side will be like, oh, you're just racist, or you don't like women. It's like, it's not the case at all. I love women. I don't even like men. I don't even like myself. Anyways, hopefully this works out well. And who knows? I mean, I don't know if this thing's coming out next year. That's just something she said on a red carpet. Somebody probably asked her about, well, obviously somebody asked her about it, and she said what she said. So let me know what you think. Are you excited about the new Indiana Jones? Do you think it'll be a disaster? How do you think they'll make it politically correct, or will they just leave it alone and let this guy, be the character that he is? We will see. I remember I heard a little while ago that a cool thing to do would be to take Short Round and have him take over the whip or something. He was the little Asian kid that was his buddy in the movie. So I don't know where that actor is or what's going on there, but that would be cool. And in terms of non-white people, that would be a cool way to do it, because here's a natural character that was from the movies, and so it would feel true to the world and then the characters, and it's like a natural thing. It wouldn't feel forced, like, oh, we're just making the character black for no reason or whatever. So hopefully that guy's around. I don't know. I'm sure I've said some offensive things here, but anyways, let me know what you think, and give it a like, give it a subscribe, and let me know if you want me to do more entertainment news like this. And if you don't want me to do it, I guess you can tell me, but I'm not gonna not do it because you don't want me to do it. Okay, let's stop recording here. Bye bye.